Hello friends, in the previous session we talked about assigning list to a list. If we do like this, L2 is equal to L1, then it means the same address is shared by the two names L1 and L2. If I change L1, like here L1 at 0 index is equal to 20, I assign 24 value to the L1 list at 0 index. If I change L1, then this change will be reflected in L2 also. Here you see L1 is same, L2 is same, because they share the same address. To avoid this, we can do like first copying the L1 into a different name and using that making changes in the second list. Like here L1 I assign a value, a list having values 2 3 4. If I use like this, L2 is equal to L1, then using this slice operation, you see here within brackets there is a colon and no any value before colon and no any value in the after the right of colon sign. It means the whole data is copied, means all the elements of this L1 is copied to the L2 list. Now L2 becomes a copy of L1. If I make changes to the L1, like L1 0 is equal to 24, assigning 24 value to the element at 0 index of L1, then it will not reflect into L2. L2 will be same. You see here L1 has changed. L1 is 24 3 4 and L2 remains the same 2 3 4, because we did change in the L1 and L2 is a copy of this, not sharing the same addresses. Another method may be to assign separately the same value, but say L1 is equal to this, L2 is equal to the same value assigning. You see here is operator is equal to operator. This one checks the equality of values on the left side and right side of it. But this is operator checks the identity of values to the left and right side of it, means addresses. If addresses are the same, then is operator returns true, otherwise false. Here L is equal to the same list having 3 elements. If I assign like this, M is equal to L, means M list shares the same address. Now L is equal to M means it means values or elements in the L list are the same elements in the M list. It means this results in true value. If I use L is M, this is operator checks the addresses. It also results into true because L and M share the same addresses if I use like this one. But if I initialize M in a separate statement like this, L is equal to 1 2 3, and I initialize M is equal to having same values but in a separate statement, means L and M will have separate addresses. Now if I use L is equal to M, means values are same in both lists L and M having 1 2 3 value, then this equality operator will result in true value. But if I use L is M, is an identity operator, since their addresses are not same, L has different address than M, it results a false value, different objects. But some exceptions are there, like primitive numbers and strings of same value are assigned with the same identities. Any two strings having the same values also share the same address. We have to keep in mind, because this primitive numbers and strings are immutable, that cannot be changed. If two values, two numbers or two string having the same values, it means they share the same addresses. Like here, if I assign this tuple ABC to 10, 10, 5, A becomes 10, A becomes first 10, this B becomes first 10, and C becomes 5. If I use like here print A is B, it results in true because this A and B have same values, means they share the same addresses. So A is B returns true, having same address. And A is not B is false because A is B is true. I can check ID of the two variables using the ID function, like ID A. ID of A, it returns the same value here, this one. And ID of B, using the ID and passing B variable name as a function, it results into the same value, means same addresses. And since C is 5 here, if I use ID of C, it results into a different address. Similar is case in case of strings, like if S1 is equal to S1 is initialized with Akash string, S2 is initialized with Akash string. Since these two strings are having same values, means they share the same address. If you see S1 is equal to S2 is true because values are same. S1 is S2 is also true because their addresses are same. This is due to data type is string and integer. Now this is not true in case of list, like here 1 is equal to this 1, 2, 3, and the second list is also having same value, but their IDs will be different, addresses will be different. List is a mutable object, so same value may have different address in case of mutable objects like dictionary, list, and sets. Boolean values will only have true or false, two types of values. Now we see here 1 is true, 1 is equal to because this 1 is true returns a true. If I print 1 is equal to true, this is equal to operator returns a true value. So true value becomes a parameter of print, hence it prints true. And 0 is represented as false in Python. If I print 0 is equal to false, it means it is true. 0 is treated as false, so this prints true value. Its reverse is true. 0 is equal to true is false, so it prints false. Now, if I print any value, there may be a confusion, so we have to see it very carefully. -6 is an integer and true is a Boolean value. These are not equal. This is true and this is a number. -6 is a number and this is true. So while printing, print functions return a false value. Positive number 6 also return false value. Actually, while printing this is string also, this 12 is equal to false. It means any number or any object, string object, while printing is neither a true or not false. When I convert by using bool function, like here you see here, it results in a true value. Bool of 1 is true, bool of 0 is false, bool of 6, I have converted here integer 6 value to Boolean type, it results true. Means any non-empty object or any number any string, if I convert into Boolean type, it results into true. Zero numbers converted to Boolean means false. None value converted to Booleans result false. And empty, any data structure like dictionary or list, an empty list having no elements, if I convert it to Boolean value, results in a false value here. Even negative numbers converted to bools are true. This string your converted to bool is true because it is a non-empty. But if I convert none to bool value, it returns false. Even empty string, I am using two double quotes with no spaces between them, that is empty string. If I convert this to bool value by calling bool function, results into false. So we have to be very careful of this. Is -6 is equal to false is false because -6 is an integer and false is a boolean, so they are no type compatible. You already knowing this arithmetic operators like plus, minus, this multiplication, this division, this floor division means the highest integer value, this percent remainder operator or modulus operator, this power operator, I have already discussed in my previous section. This is negation, minus x, and this bitwise not operator, this tilde character. These are x is here tuple assignment. If I use x plus y becomes 5. These are simple things you can know here. I have already shown. The comparison operators here compare two values. These are also called relational operator. X less than y. This is true when x is less than y, otherwise false. Similarly, this greater than y is true when x is greater than y. These expressions return true or false value, these comparison operators. This x greater than equal to y returns true when either x is greater than or equal to y. Similarly, I have already discussed equal to operator returns true when x and y are equal. X not equal to, this exclamation mark coupled with equal to is not equal to. X not equal to y returns true when x is not equal to y. Otherwise, if they are equal, it returns true. I can use here x comma y is 6 for x becomes 6, y becomes 4. Now x equal to y returns false. X greater than y returns true. X less than y returns false. We have to just keep in mind that these comparison operators returns true or false value. If I print them, also they print the true or false value. Logical operators are or, and not. X or y means it returns true when either of x or y is true. Otherwise, if both are false, then it will return a false value. X and y means x and y both should be true to be the whole expression true. If either of them is false, then this whole x and y will be false. Not x is the reverse of, actually if x is true, then not x is false. If x is false, then not x is true. This is negation operator. It can be checked here and print here, like here. You see, printing a greater than b, C less than d. This prints. You may check by printing a greater than b, like a d greater than c values. Now we have to see here, like here. This is a tuple. Because two values separated with comma. One value is 2 or 3. Next value is 3 or 2. Now OR operator first evaluates the first, this one true. If this is true, then the value of the 2 or 3 is the first value. Otherwise, if the left side of the R it is false, then it evaluates the right side value. If it is true, then true. Here 2 or 3 results into 2 because 2 is true. OR operator first checks left side value. If that is true, the whole expression becomes that value. Otherwise, it checks the right side value. If that is one true, then the expression becomes the same that value. If both are not true, means it returns a false value. Here you see 3 or 2. This is also true. This returns into 3. You see here, left side is an empty list, right side is a 3. It finds an empty list on the left. Then it checks the right side value 3. And the whole expression becomes 3. You see here, that is 3. And there are 2 empty lists. First is a list and second is a dictionary. Now you see both are empty. Then both are false. And that evaluates to this one, right side value. The reverse is true about the AND. It first checks the left side value 2. That is true. Then it checks the right side value. And the expression becomes the right side value. Like here 3 and 2. 3 is true. 2 is also true. It becomes the value of the whole expression. 3 and 2 becomes 2. Because first is true, then it becomes it evaluates the second and the expression becomes second. If this has been false, right side value, then it will evaluate the false. Here in this case, this is square, this is an empty list, and this empty dictionary. Both are empty. Then first it finds an empty, evaluates to false, then whole expression becomes this empty list. In this case, 3 and this one. 3 is true, then it goes to check the next on the right side. Then it is an empty, so the value of expression becomes the right side value. We check some membership operator. You see by example here, LST is a list I have initialized here. It is initialized with a list having 3 values, 10, 20 and 30. And X is a variable having 20 value. If I check, print here X in LST, we see that X is having 20 value and this LST is a list having 3 values, 10, 20 and 30. Since this 20 value is already in this list in the middle, then this results true. X in LST results true. The expression of this the value of this expression becomes true. Then it prints true. But if I use X not in LST, it results into false because X is in LST. This 20 value is already in this LST list. So in is an membership operator. If that candidate is in that sequence or list or dictionary, it results true, otherwise false. Same thing can be checked in string case also. I will initialize this str variable with a string Rameswaram. Now if I print S is a string having single character. So if I write S in str, means str is having so many characters, it will check whether S is in this string or not. Now we see here is S, so it results in true. In operator checks membership of S in str. If S is present in the str, it will result true here. it results true. Now M not in str. Since M is in str, the last character M, so not in results false value because in is true. You see here SSWAR is a string having 5 characters is already in this string, so this also results in true. SSWR is in this str Rameswaram, hence it results in true. One thing you must care here, capital M in str. Since Python is a case sensitive language, small m and capital M are treated as different objects. This is a string having capital M character and this M is having a small m. So capital M is not in str. str contains only small m. So M in str results false due to case sensitivity. Identity operator I have already discussed with you. It checks addresses. If addresses or references are same, it results true, otherwise not. Bitwise operator, x or y, this is bitwise, or x and y, this is the bitwise. And bitwise means working on the 1010 binary values bit by bit. X, this is exclusive, or less than operator is a shift operator, left shift, shifting the x value by y number of bits. This x greater than y means shifting the x binary number by y number of bits. This is one's complex building. As an example, we can go through like x is equal to 1. 1 is an integer. Now it is represented in binary format 0, 0, 1. If I use x less than 2 means shifting x by 2 bits. You see here 0, 0, 0, 1. If you shift left side by 2 digits, this last 1 becomes at the third position. It becomes like this 0, 1, 0, 0. X or 2. Since x is now x has become this one, we can see here 0, 0, 0, 1, and 2 is a 2 in the binary. It may be represented as 0, 0, 1, 0. If I make OR here 0, 0, 0, 1 and 0, 0, 1, 0. If I make OR means if any one is 1, that results into 1. 0 is only when both are 0. So that may result this 0, 0, 1, 0. Bitwise, and if I am using x and 1 means x is here 0, 0, 1 and integer 1 is represented the same 0, 0, 0, 1. If I use x and 1, then it's applies AND operator, and in both the first 3 digits are 0 and last one is 1. So 1 and 1 becomes 1 in the last and rest is 0 here. This is the same. Now we have to see the 2 important things in the Python which are used more frequently. Yield. Yield is a generation function which returns some value at time intervals whenever it is called. By example, we may see here, and lambda is an anonymous function. Since there is no name of this function, we see here example of yield here. You see, although I will discuss about functions in later on, but for an example, you keep in mind that function is a group of instructions, and a function is defined by diff keyword. If I write diff and now write some name here, like I have written fun, and open a small bracket and close this bracket, and after this bracket I use this colon. It means this is a header line of function, and I am going to define statements or block of statements of the function. A function name is defined by the diff keyword, then function name, then within small brackets. If I pass some value in that function, then we can write some value like here m. When I call this function and pass some value, that value will be taken by this m, and I can use this m in my function. Right here I am using. Now after this colon, if I have to write statements of the functions, then those statements are written after some indentation, means in the vertical having 4 spaces or 6 spaces. Some spaces we have to leave blank on the right side and start next instructions after some spaces. Right here, these 2 lines you see here, for I in range m. It is a for loop. Again, it will be discussed in next session. I am opening the Jupyter notes, and you see here it is a function. I have defined diff, then function name, then passed a parameter m, then colon, then after I start with some indentation. I have left 4 spaces blank, and after 4 spaces I start the next statement. That is a for loop. Again, this is a compound statement. For I in range m. Range is a function which returns some values. That values start from 0 and up to 1 less than this m number. We will see here when calling the function. Now this for is also a compound statement that ends with the colon, and again we have to leave some space here, indentation for the for loop. Means for loop contains only one statement in its body, that is yield statement. Hence it is written after some indentation here. I am using yield I. Then what is I? Actually range m. Suppose I call here this function like lst is equal to fun. I am using a name lst, and that equals the return value of this function. Now you see here, thus I am calling this function by using the function name and passing a value 5. This means the function which I have already predefined is called, and this 5 value is passed as a parameter in the function. Now this function is called and m becomes 5. 5 comes here for right in range m. Now this function, this range m, returns values from 0 to 4. 1 less than 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And iteratively first I is assigned to 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Whenever it is assigned, first range m puts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 values here, and in the first iteration this first value 0 is assigned to I becomes 0. Now yield I means yield 0. Yield means this yield will give this 0 value to this function here from where the function is called. So first this will be 0 and 0 will be assigned to LST. Again the loop will run. The next value of the range 1 becomes I, and this yield 1 returns this 1 value here, and that is assigned to LST. So previously LST contains 0, now it will contain 1. Again when this loop will run, then the next value of the range 2 will be assigned to this I, and yield I means yield 2. Then this 2 value will be sent to the from where this function was called here. 2 will come here, and ultimately this 2 will be assigned to LST. Up till now LST will contain 0, 1, 2, and again it will return here 3 and 4. So ultimately this LST will contain 0, 1, 2, 3 volt and 4 values. So, but it is not in the form of a list. It is a generator object. If I print this LST, using print LST function, it prints a generator object at itna. For using this, I have to extract each element from this list. Now again I am using for loop for I in LST. Keep in mind this LST contains values from 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 that are returned by this yield statement by calling the function. Now LST contains these values 0 to 4, and in this for loop for I in LST or 0 to 4, each value will be assigned to this I. The first value 0 will be assigned to I. Then I am using again with indentation, because for loop is a compound statement. I am using this colon. After colon is we leave 4 spaces here, then start the block of the for loop. For loop contains only single statement, print I, and end with this single space character. So it prints, first it prints 0 because first time I is 0, so it prints 0. Again loop will go and extract next element from LST. Again I will be 1, and the statement of the loop body print statement will print 1. Again 2 value be assigned to this I, and this print 2 will be executed. So ultimately this value 0 to 4 will be printed here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we understand this yield function returns time by time some value whenever it's called, and that values are sent to from where the function is called, and ultimately that are assigned to a generator object. I can iterate over, iterate mean extracting each item one by one by using this for loop. I have extracted values in this generator object LST by using for loop and extracting each value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 using the for loop and printing this value. So this is the generator object and yield statement. Now I have to see here the another important function, lambda function. You see I here if I run this first I remove output of this cell by clicking in the output area, and here right clicking and clear cell output. You see the cell output is cleared. See here. no cell output. If I take cursor here in the cell and click this run this cell, you see here print the same generator object printed and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 values are printed here. Generator, this one is printed due to this print lst, since lst is a generator object, and this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are printed due to this for loop. Now I will show you the lambda. Lambda is a very important anonymous function used in data science and machine learning very frequently, and lambda is used like this. We use lambda keyword and pass some parameters separated with comma. So I use lambda keyword and pass two parameters, x comma y, and use a colon. After colon, in the same line, we use some expression. Here I have used x into y. So what it does, the whole expression, this is called a lambda function. Whenever I call this lambda function, I have to pass two parameters that will be assigned to x and y, and the after colon is the return value of the function. Means if I pass two parameters x and y, then it will multiply those values and return those values to the function from where it is called. This lambda xy colon x into y, this is a function that is assigned to this name func. Now how I call this lambda function? I have to call using this name func and passing two parameters 4 comma y. Now 4 will be assigned to x, the first parameter here, and 5 will be assigned to this y. By calling func 4 comma 5, actually I give the whole expression, this lambda function, a name or a reference by calling function. Then when I call this function like func and opening this small bracket, passing two parameters, actually this lambda function will be called, and this 4, 5 will come here, x and y. So what is the return value? Return value will be after colon, this 4 into 5. 20 will be returned. 20 will come here from where the function is called. 20 will come here, and if I press the enter, it will print a 20 value. The same can be used like in the print statement also. If I call print function, and in the print function I pass by calling the function func and passing two parameters. You see here I am passing a function with parameters to the print function. So it goes like this. First it calls func function and passes two parameters 4 and 5. Func function means the same, this lambda. 4, 5 are multiplied, that function returns 20 here, and print function prints this 20 value. The same things. I can go here and see in the first I clear cell output, and if I click in the cell, you see here the func lambda x comma y, and I print that value what is returned from the function by calling func function within the print function. So if I run, I am clicking here, you see here what is returned. Returned value is 20 here. So lambda function is very much useful. Actually, some limitations are that lambda function may be used only in a single line, not multiple line, like the previous function. Multiple lines is not allowed. Lambda function used like this single line also. So I will now end this session. In the next section, we will talk about further things. And thank you.